I would say a lot of them are starting brands. They're like, they have like a dope saying or something that happens to them in life that's personal to them. And they'll be like, this is just a saying. And the saying is not that it's a bad saying, but that's not a company or a brand. It's just a good t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And so how do you expand off of that one product? Well, you don't, because that's just what you're built off of. For me, I just gave a voice to a community that was already there. I didn't create HBCUs. They were before me. They'll be after me. But people weren't talking about it. We were just having a conversation that, I didn't know much about it before I got there. But that was my experience too. So I'm like, how do I spread awareness and get people to know about them without like, oh, look at this college, or without college fairs and the boring stuff? Well, let's do merchandise. And then people love merchandise, so let's put it on people who people look up to. And now it makes it easier for you to recognize what's going on in the HBCU space.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the More Rounds podcast. I'm Kim Lewis, CEO and co-founder of CurlMix, and today we're going to be talking about how to fund your business, whether that's through debt, cash flow, or raising an investment. And today, you guys, we have Corey Arvinger, media strategist extraordinaire. I don't know anybody who's gone viral more than this man, okay? He knows the formula of how to get millions of views on social media, and I love him for it. But before we get started, I want to make sure we toast. Oh, and I cannot forget, CurlMix is now available in Ulta. So please check us out and go sell us out. Okay? All right. Now let's cheers.
Let's do it. Ugh.
In case Corey's mom is watching, he's not drinking alcohol.
This is Hennessy.
That is not Hennessy. That is some sparkling grape juice, y'all. Do not listen to this man.
First of all, not you bring my mom in this like I'm not over 21.
You know,
like
I met your mama. She's super sweet. I like her.
Yes.
So I just had to let her know. You know, I didn't have you on the show being bad, you know? Let me get another sip.
My little Hennessy.
So Corey, tell people about yourself. Tell me about Corey Arvinger. How'd you get started? What's your background? I saw you went to Howard, HU.
The number one HBCU in the country, if anybody asks.
You know how you could even say the number one college in the country. You don't have to say
what I'm
HBCU,
saying? Why even at HBCU at this point? The number one college in the world. For sure, is nobody better than Howard University. And I'll stand on that.
Facts. All right. So tell me about yourself.
What you want to know? You want to know business? You want to know personal?
I don't want to know your personal life, Corey.
Okay. Some people might be interested. I am single.
My God. This is not a dating podcast.
Like this is a lot of ladies watch this podcast.
Oh, my God.
I am single. Y'all hit me up if you're cute.
So Corey's only saying this because I was out with my girlfriends and they were like, do you know any available guys? And I was like, I know one. And then I was like, let me send you his IG. And I was also tipsy. And I sent Corey his own IG. He was like, question mark? I'm like, my bad, G. I was trying to send my friend your info, and then I sent it to you. And he's like, what she look like? I'm like, oh, my gosh.
And then she didn't want to tell me what she look like. I'm like, yo, just tell me what she look like so I can either save you the time or we can fast forward this process.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, Corey, tell the people, not your personal life. Yes, this man is single. If you want to date Corey, call 555-342.
Not the number. I'm on Instagram, though. It'll be tagged below.
Corey, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Corey, and man, I serve as CEO of a company called Support Black Colleges. We focus on getting our black kids back to our black schools. So started it my sophomore year at Howard University. And honestly, it's crazy. On Facebook, I saw today, it was like 10 years ago, where I was wearing the shirt that I talk about all the time when I say people saw my shirt and wanted to buy it. Oh, so wow. Today is actually 10 years. I literally screenshotted it and saved it in my phone. So
congratulations.
That's really dope. But yeah, man, I just saw an opportunity to be able to spread awareness about HBCUs. Even going into an HBCU as my mom being a legacy at Howard University, I still didn't really know like really what it meant. I kind of like understood the concept, but I think she wanted me to be able to make my own decisions. She didn't want to force it on me. I ended up going to Howard because I wanted to follow in her footsteps, and it was the best decision of my life. I've always been an entrepreneur. Even before I knew what an entrepreneur was, I used to sell snacks in high school. I used to sell ices.
You was one of them kids.
I was one of them kids.
Pulling Snickers out your book bag.
I had a duffel. It was a specific duffel bag,
okay,
a green duffel
bag
made for it. And Michelle Obama was doing this healthy snack initiative, and I was like, oh nah, like I don't want the baked chips. I don't want the sunflower seeds. I want the oatmeal cream pies and the all of those things. So I used to go to dollar store or like to Costco and buy everything wholesale and then sell each thing for like $1.50. And I did that for years in high school.
That's dope. How much money were you making? I'm just curious.
Man, it had to be a few hundred, like, a week.
And profit?
Yeah, and profit. Yeah, because I mean, you go to the dollar store, you buy
That's
oatmeal cream pies, honey buns. It's 8 in a pack, 6 in a pack for $1. But then I'm selling them each for $1. Capri Suns, you'll get a pack for like $2.50, but I would sell them for like 50 cents.
Did you get in trouble with your high school for doing this?
No, so that's why people don't understand the power of relationships. So I used to tell my teachers, you go into the back first before class starts and choose what you want, and then I would just let me get the first 2 minutes of class to sell to the class.
Wow, that is definitely against the rules. I am sure of it. I am sure, but that's dope. But you're right. It's not about what you know; it's who you know.
100%.
Okay, so you was duffel bag boy in high school, and then you transitioned in college to like a fashion brand.
Yeah, and even not that smooth either. It was like my freshman year at Howard, I was so, whether I'd say green, like I didn't know anything. I came from Greensboro, North Carolina to Washington, D.C. I had never took a bus before. Like I had never took public transportation.
Oh, wow.
So being in D.C., I'm like, so how am I supposed to get to the mall? Like I had a car when I was 16.
Oh my God.
So I was driving on some of my friends at Howard didn't even have their license from New York or from, these different places. And so,
I'm sorry, life ain't fair. I've been taking the bus since I was like 12. Okay.
Really?
At 6 a.m. in the morning in Chicago.
Okay, well that's a little different.
And I was getting on the bus. Yeah. It was dark outside. Like that's not why I have to go to the bus. And then I'd be out all day. I don't get home till like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night on the bus on the way back home. And I'm like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl doing this on myself. Wow. So you got to college and they never rode the bus before. That's crazy, bro.
Never. I was struggling with that Metro card. I'm like, what? How do I put money on this? But you live and you learn.
Okay.
And so, I actually first started throwing parties in college. I was a party promoter. Okay. And so even my freshman year, we were throwing parties every single weekend, and I was seeing a lot of money coming in. You sell tickets for $20 and take $5 per ticket. So I'm selling hundreds of tickets, and that's kind of how I started finding my entrepreneurship journey in college.
What did you find was the best way to promote your parties? How did you get people to come to them? Because were you Greek? Are you Greek?
No, I'm not Greek.
Oh, okay. So then how did you get people to come to your parties?
I'm me. What you mean?
Nah, come on. Give people some time. People out here having these events and they don't know how to sell no tickets.
I'm telling you, it's all about relationships. So let's do a quick role play, right?
Okay.
Act like I don't know you. Like I don't know that you're Kim and you don't know me at all.
Okay.
So most of my tickets were sold in the dorms or in the cafeteria. My goal was to make the most genuine relationship possible in this small amount of time and make you feel like you know me, right? Okay. So I'd be like, hey, what's going on? What's your name?
Kim, nice to meet you.
Kim, where you from?
Chicago.
And I'd be like, oh, you must have went to Simeon.
No, I went to Morgan Park.
Oh, that's ghetto. That school is hella ghetto.
This how you make friends?
It's hella ghetto.
No, it's not.
Why you say that?
I love my school. We have so much school spirit.
But that means it's not ghetto because you got school spirit?
Okay, it might be a little ghetto, but I like it. So what? What's wrong with it being a little ghetto?
Right. And so we would have that kind of banter, right? Mm-hmm. And so either they'd be like, oh, this is the same thing. Oh, this is how you make friends. Or they'll be like, oh, you must have went to, and sometimes they'll tell me their rival school. Oh, you must have went to so-and-so. And I'd be like, I did. And they'd be like, oh, I never went to that school. But now I know that I broke down that wall of just strangers coming to talk to me. Now it's like, well, what you know about Chicago? Oh, you from Chicago? That's what they used to always ask me. Are you from so-and-so? And so now anywhere you tell me I know a high school or a middle school or a landmark or something that kids did there so that I could break that initial barrier. Once I did that, everything else was easy.
Watching on YouTube, unfortunately, is not enough. If you've learned anything from my podcast, please, please, please leave me a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I would be so appreciative, and you would help further the progress of this podcast. Now back to the episode. So you know how to make connections with people, and you made a lot of friends.
Yeah,
and that's how you got people to come to your parties.
Yeah, and I used to spend a lot of time in the cafeteria. So my first semester, my GPA was a 1.2 or something.
But you probably were a popular kid on campus.
Oh yeah. I threw parties. I was the president of the School of Business. I was with the freshman class of the School of Business. I started an organization on campus. I was the president of North Carolina Club. I was very active, and then I also was playing basketball on and off. So
how did you, plenty of people start t-shirt businesses all the time. Mm-hmm. And, everybody's like, I got a cool saying, I'm going to start a t-shirt business, right? That's usually how people start. Mm-hmm. And somehow, you could have easily been another one of those people who are just I just got a cool t-shirt business and
100%.
It doesn't really, it's not well branded. But Support Black Colleges has gotten lots of support from lots of celebrities, lots of corporations. Mm-hmm. You have hundreds of thousands of followers online. Mm-hmm. You've really been able to make it stand out. And And now that I know you were a party promoter, I think that kind of helps a little bit because I knew you were able to make friends, and so then if you had something, people wanted to wear it. Mm-hmm. But like, was there anything that you did that you feel like is different than how other people are starting these t-shirt businesses that don't really, excel?
Yeah, I would say a lot of them are starting brands. They have like a dope saying or something that happens to them in life that's personal to them, and they'll be like, this is just a saying. And a saying is not that it's a bad saying, but that's not a company or a brand. It's just a good t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And so how do you expand off of that one product? Well, you don't, because that's just what you're built off of. For me, I just gave a voice to a community that was already there. I didn't create HBCUs. They were before me. They'll be after me. But people weren't talking about it. We were just having a conversation that, I didn't know much about it before I got there. But that was my experience too. So I'm like, how do I spread awareness and get people to know about them without like, look at this college, or without college fairs and the boring stuff? Well, let's do merchandise. And then people love merchandise, so let's put it on people who people look up to. And now it makes it easier for you to recognize what's going on in the HBCU space.
That's so smart. You found a community that was overlooked and gave them a voice. And then they ride for you because they're like, oh my God, he recognized what we have. I like that. That's
they're so prideful. They're so prideful.
That's true.
You probably know where I went to school before you know anything about me, because that's how we are, especially Howard people. They like, we went to Howard.
HU? The Howard University. I be the like, Mecca. Bro, just say your name. Like, we ain't got to know all of this.
You got to know where we came from. We were Howard made. We built like that.
Okay, so when you were launching your merchandising business in college, where did you find the money to do this?
Well, I was throwing parties.
Okay.
So, and I also worked. So I worked at a gym called Vita Fitness on U Street. I would work from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. So sometimes I would have a party, get out of the party at 3 a.m., go home, change, take a nap, and then go to work at 5 a.m. And I work from 5 to 10 a.m. Pretty much throughout the week.
But what was you making, like $10 an hour? You was making like $50 a day? Like, how was you? Okay.
I was actually running the system.
Oh gosh, not you got
Vita Fitness. Everything I say here on out could be false or true. You will never know. But I used to work the front desk, so and I also used to work like the smoothie bar. It was like attached.
Okay.
So like people would like pay for a smoothie, and I would usually give it to them for free, or like I would like ring up a banana, like something that was like 99 cents, and they would just put large chips in the tip jar. So I used to go home with like hundreds of dollars.
Wow. Okay, you was scamming for real. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream in your ear on the podcast. My bad.
But that could be a false story, honestly.
Okay, so that didn't really happen. Look, we're going to scratch that from the record. Okay, so you were making some money on your job, and then you put that into your merchandising business.
Yeah.
What were some of the early revenues, and what were like the leaps that happened, and how did you fund those leaps?
So I think it's important for me to say also, I never intended on starting a clothing brand. That's not what I was trying to do.
Okay.
I wore a shirt that I had made, and people said, "Oh, where'd you get that from?" And I said, "Oh, this is a business." It wasn't like I was like, "I want to have a clothing company. Let me find manufacturer." It was like, "Oh, you like this? I can have you one next week." That's the kind of type time it was on. So I was paying a lot for it because I was like getting them done in like 5 or 6 at a time.
Gotcha.
I was like almost like pre-ordering, and then I would give it to you next week or so. So my cousin had his own clothing brand at the time, and so he was helping me push out the manufacturing. I wasn't even really good at numbers. I didn't know if I was getting good deals or nothing. I just was doing stuff, trying to make just quick cash.
So did you bring anybody in that you feel like could help with that, or?
So I basically used my team that I use for parties to help push and promote. So we put stickers all over campus. Like they were wearing the stuff, and so it was just like party promotion. It's just I was selling clothes.
Any lessons in the team that you transitioned from the party promoting to support Black colleges?
A lot of lessons.
Okay. What are some of your lessons?
Understanding how people work individually and then also as a unit. So in party promotion, some people sold this way. They would sell in groups, or they would sell individually, or they would sell in these places. And then some people like to be partnered up, and some people like to sell online and use social media. I was an in-person seller versus one of my really good homeboys. He was an online seller. So he would get people online, I would get people in person. And so in business, people operate a certain way with the clothing. Some people like to do things this way. Some people like to do things this way. It's not that either one is right or wrong, but it's how do you work best for yourself to be most efficient for us. And so I learned that. I learned how to work with different personalities. Some people are shy. Some people are not. Some people are outgoing. Like, just because you're quiet don't mean you can't sell no tickets. We had this one girl on our team. She never said too much, but she used to sell the most tickets. And I'm like, what are you doing that allows you to sell so many tickets?
Wait. How many people were helping you sell tickets for these parties?
So my team, initially we started with a team of like 20. And so we were called the Trendsetters. And then I moved
Did y'all have jackets?
We had T-shirts.
Okay,
we had
all
we
right.
had gang signs and everything. It was a whole thing.
Wow. Okay.
There's YouTube videos on it, but we also then I transitioned to a smaller team because that team
Not you was a gang.
like literally at HBCUs everything's a gang. The dorm's a gang. The football team a gang. The basketball team, like everybody is a gang, and then obviously the Greeks are gangs. But and then we transitioned to a small team called the Starting Five. So
You're gonna get beat up online talking about the Greeks are gangs. What? They finna hit you in the comments.
You heard it here first. Y'all know where to find me. I'm in Atlanta. Y'all know where to find me.
The fires.
But yeah, we transitioned to a smaller team.
So wait, what was y'all gang sign for the trendsetters?
Trendsetters like this. We used to like this.
Okay.
We used to say tease up. Tease up was like this. So shout out to the trendsetters out there doing great things in the world, by the way.
Okay, so it's 20 of y'all was all selling tickets. This is interesting. I think this would actually be helpful for the folks in the mastermind businesses where they're trying to sell tickets and everybody's using Facebook ads. And really what the issue could be is that y'all don't have enough people selling tickets for you and getting a cut of the ticket sales.
100%. People have to feel like they're a part of it other than just, I'm doing this for you. What's in it for me? That's what people always want to know, right? And then like grassroots and guerrilla marketing is what I specialize in. I'm going to my audience. I'm not letting them come to me. I'm going to them and then letting them buy because they see me. I'm present.
So I just learned something today that I think most people don't know about you, Corey, is that you have a degree in public relations, which teaches you how to make people tick or like knows what makes people tick to get the clip, to get the audio, to get the press. How much of that do you feel like contributed to your ability in guerrilla marketing? A
lot. You know, I remember taking a public speaking class. I didn't think I needed public speaking class. I'm like, I can speak pretty
You're
decently.
in college. You definitely need public speaking class.
I definitely needed it. And my teacher was so amazing. She taught me just like the style of speaking and charismatic, like watching like Martin Luther King speak versus Barack Obama, like their cadence and their tone and their charisma and their charm and versus like, I don't know, Dr. Umar. Like it's 3 different styles, 3 different effects, those kind of things. And so I use some of those styles and mixed with like a little psychology on getting sales. Like I'm looking at you, I'm like, okay, your hair. Da, da. I'm trying to figure out what can I find that you would be so passionate about that I could be like, I got you. Cause I can be like, hey, girl, how you get your? I'm trying to grow my. And then we talk. Now we talk about hair. I'm like, and I'm also throwing a party. You should come, man. You and your friend. And now they done bought the ticket. Have no idea. Like from the jump, I never cared about it. I just wanted to make you feel like I cared about what you want to talk about.
Now I'm reevaluating our whole friendship, Corey. Like,
no, we good. We good. I ain't say you nothing yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so have you tallied how many views that you've amassed on social? Because I've seen several posts that have gotten over 1 million views, right? Consistently. Or how often would you say you get a post that goes over 1 million views?
Normally twice a week.
Twice a week. Typically.
These last 2 weeks have been kind of slow, but typically I have a video that does over 1 million and one that does over like 3 or 4 a week.
What kind of video gets over 1 million views?
The most simple ones. That's the worst part about it. All the videos I actually try and care about do nothing. When I say like nothing, to me nothing like 50,000. But like
50,000 views is nothing.
Yeah, 50,000 views. Like that's like nothing for real. Okay, that's like 3,000 likes.
This YouTube video might get 300 views, but they're gonna be very powerful.
They're gonna love it. All 300 of them folks gonna be impactful.
Oh my gosh! But yes, okay. So
but like I say, so I have this. I call it the perfect post, and what it is basically me walking, sitting, or standing, and then words above my head with trending sounds. And so basically, it'll be like I had one. That said the Mario song, "You a dime plus 99." Remember that song? Mm-hmm. So I said something along the lines of, "A dime plus 99, you really just a McChicken, right?" and so I'll put it over my head. I'm like thinking like, "Dang, he really just called you a McChicken," and that video did like 2-3 million views. But then I did like simple. A day in the life of me. I took my camera, I had my tripod, I was getting out the car, recording, making high quality, great sound, ASMR. 300 views. It'd be like, I just did all that all day. I intentionally filmed on my most busy day so you could see what it was like to be an entrepreneur for a day, and it didn't do anything. So it's kind of weird. I think that people want highly relatable content with people who they feel can relate to them, and you want to appeal to the masses, but also appeal to a specific niche at the same time. Okay. So you did your merch business. You started in college. It was after your party promoting. That's how you got your first money from your first job. What are some of the, what are like the first, like when you realize, oh, this is legit business? Like when did you hit like six figures or 100,000, 200,000? And then when did you catapult to that $1 million? What was the funding difference? Yeah. So it's crazy. I started the brand in my sophomore year in college, and I didn't really see it through per se. It was like a college brand. Like I was on college, I was selling it, but then, like after college, like I wasn't like doing it. I got a job at AT&T working as a retail sales associate, a regular associate. And then I got a job working for a guy named Sean Parker who created Napster. And
I remember Napster.
Yeah, and he then also Facebook. And so I worked for him for a year, and that's where I kind of like started transitioning started transitioning more into marketing. So I was doing college marketing for him. So what was happening was I had the best job ever there. I worked from home. I lived in New York and in DC because they were paying for my apartment in New York. And I basically went to all the popular college events to market the app that we were doing called Airtime. So
Airtime.
Yeah.
So Napster was making Airtime?
Sean Parker was making Airtime.
Okay, gotcha.
But I just always say Napster because people don't remember his name unless I say Napster.
Yeah. I mean, I remember downloading music and that's so crazy. That's such a flashback.
He's a genius, by the way. Like being in some of those meetings, I'm like, I know why you made $1 billion.
How'd you get that job? The number one question I get all the time is, Kim, is CurlMix available in stores? We have been saying no to every retailer for the last 7 years that I've been in business. And we are finally going to be on store shelves, you guys. We are going to be available in Ulta. And I really need you guys to show up and buy us out so that we can blow up in the store and do well. Thank you so much for watching our podcast. And please make sure you go buy CurlMix, now available in Ulta. Working with him.
They found me.
They found you.
So it's funny. Every job I've ever had, they've always found me.
How did they find you? I mean,
I to this day.
Where'd you meet this man? At the coffee shop?
I didn't meet him. I think somebody emailed me, and I maybe from LinkedIn or something.
Because you was making enough noise on campus. You make enough noise on campus, and
we had campus jumping.
Gotcha.
When I say jumping, so I almost got expelled from school because one of our parties was too crazy. But that's a whole nother story. But
what happened at the party?
So we did this. You remember the movie Project X?
I think so.
It's like a big house party, essentially. Mm-hmm. We basically found an abandoned building in DC and we got
you a criminal, breaking all the laws. Oh my gosh.
It was at least 40 cops there. And we got called into the president's office the next day, and I was like, this is
You was going to have HU on the news.
I said, listen, we threw a party off campus. We didn't say nobody had to come.
Wow. How many people came?
It was a few thousand.
That's crazy, bro. Okay.
I'll show you the video.
You might need to be in a you're in the wrong business. You need to be having these corporations hire you out for $500,000 to $1 million and advise on how to get people to.
Let's talk about that.
Festivals.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, like not that you're in the wrong business. I mean, this is a great business,
right.
But like you could just be getting paid to think about how to,
we're on the same page.
Capture audiences, build communities, things like that. Because you're just doing different things and thinking of different things than better than I've seen other people, gather large groups of people. So this is really interesting.
Man. Everybody. So one thing I would say I learned from party promotion is you're throwing the same event every week. You're just calling it something different. So this might be like Freaky Friday because it's Halloween, but next week might be like First Fridays because it's the first Friday of the month, or next one might be like, I don't know, whatever. Spring Break Friday, like. You're giving, it's the same venue with the same DJs and the same people. So how do you market it to make people feel like you're going to a different experience? And that's what I was really good at, is coming up with those ideas and themes and names. And so I transitioned that into my regular life. Like, how do I make things? When I was at AT&T, I saw that people couldn't sell security or internet. Like, you're not positioning it the right way. You're leading with that. Oh, by the way, I know you're coming in for an upgrade, but do this. And I'd be like, now let me look at your bill real quick. I actually think I can get about $40 off in your bill. Matter of fact, I can get $40 off, but I could also add internet and TV and make you pay no difference. And they're like, really? Okay. And so I used to just like change the way I like present it to people, and that makes it more appealing.
Have you ever raised money for support by colleges before? No. So what, did you like secure any loans for it? Like, how are you getting the money to scale it up? Because I think you guys did like 7 figures before, right?
Yeah. So we've had $2 million days. And I just got money from I already had money, just from working and parties and just different things. And so it was just little at a time. I would do a small release, make the money, invest it back. A little bigger release, make the money kind of thing. That's kind of how I just bootstrapped it all from the beginning. Okay. Did you ever have to secure any debt or anything like that? And how'd you go about approaching that? How do you think about that? Any lessons, things you want to share with people? So we did take one really bad loan. And I don't know if the loan was bad or the way we managed the loan was bad. Okay. It was probably a little bit of both. Okay. So I remember I wasn't the lead on this, but we took a loan and it was like a 17% interest rate.
Okay.
It was like $300,000, and we did that. The first Black Friday, we made $1 million because we wanted to make the merchandise before Black Friday, so we wanted to get a head start on it. Yeah, and so the money ended up getting mismanaged. Those orders ended up. Some of the merchandise that we were making for Black Friday ended up going to a order for Urban Outfitters, which was like a lot of our inventory, and it ended up putting us in a worse position because the inventory we were going to use for our customers who were paying a higher price went to a wholesale order, and that caused just a lot of stuff. But then you still so we had a lot of refunds, returns because it didn't go well. But then you still got to pay the loan back at a 17% interest rate.
Exactly.
And so I was paying $4,000 a week, up until honestly recently, $4,000 a week to pay off this loan or whatever.
Wow.
And so the interest rates had skyrocketed. We, I pushed it back a few times, different things. So that one is like understanding the terms and like know what you're taking, have a designated what you're going to use it for, and then actually doing that, executing, and then paying it back. And then two, I would say for me personally, I feel like we didn't necessarily need the money. I felt like we could have just properly educated our customer on what the process was, and if you agree to be a part of this process, then this is how you'll get it.
Right. It might take you a few months, but we'll get it.
And that's what Telfar did. Telfar was like, January 1st, we're going to do all of this, and then you'll get it in 6 months. It's the bags. They call it the bag securing policy, or you secure your bag or whatever. And people knew 6 months is going to come. So basically, they just say, okay, let me just get all the money, and I'm going to send it overseas. And then they go, all we have to do is educate properly. But we were so like, they're offering us so much money because we're making so much money. We're like, they offering us $300,000. And so we took it, which is not bad. We just took a bad loan and didn't manage it properly. So
yeah,
I just think it's all preference.
So are you still working through that situation, or did you guys kind of come to a resolution? Or,
yeah.
And I know we talked about like crowdfunding before. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the situation is like, it's kind of like at bay, but it's a lot of stuff on the back end. It was a lot of different things that stem from that one thing.
Okay.
So I would say as a whole, yes, still working through it.
Okay. But
that specific loan in particular is pretty much handled.
Okay.
Well,
that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers. I don't have my glass, but I'm
my Hennessy.
Clink. Okay, so I got a few questions for you, Corey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull them up on my phone.
Are these my rapid fire questions?
Yeah. So this is what I like to call the lightning round. It ain't gonna be that fast though, so you can tell a full story if you need to.
Okay.
What's a belief that you once had about entrepreneurship that you no longer have?
Ooh. That is easy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Literally, my last guest said the exact same thing.
I mean,
give me a different answer.
Okay. I think that we feel like entrepreneurship won't take as much time as a regular job, but it actually takes more. So everybody's like 9 to 5. I don't want to work 9 to 5. I work 9 to 9. I work 9 to 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I think that we feel like, we're going to stop the 9 to 5, work less, be able to be on our own time. Like, nah, I'll be on vacation like, dang, let me do this real quick. I would never do that for a 9 to 5. Because once I'm going, I'm gone. But with my business, it's like, it's always something you can do.
What mistake did you make that you wish you could go back and change?
I would say the way I set up or did not set up my partnership agreement with my old business partner. Okay. I wish that I would have just made it plain and clear. And when you're in the beginning of something that you don't know is about to be support, but I didn't know it was about to be this. Like, I would be lying if I said I knew I was going to make. I did not. I was doing it for fun to make money, along with a bunch of other things that didn't do what this did. But setting it up to where I have this ownership, you have this ownership. This is like the actual agreement. I would have done that differently.
I feel that. It's so funny. I remember, I went into business with my husband, and they were like, well, how'd you guys do equity? You just leave it, open and free-ended. And I was like, no, he should get 50%. Like, let's put it on paper. They was like, you don't want to have 51%. He get 49%, so you have control. I was like, why would I do that? Like, we're putting in the same effort, the same money, the same whatever. So, no, I feel you on that. It's like, even if you in love with the person you started a business with, you need documents, and you needed to say equity ownership, and you needed to, because one day you may not, and so.
You just never know.
Exactly.
And do it while it's easy to talk about. Because once a problem happens, it gets difficult. And I was in that situation. Like, it's hard to talk about because we can't communicate properly. Versus 5 years ago, we were like, oh, bro, yeah, like, I get it. You started it, da-da-da-da. Those conversations don't happen anymore.
Exactly. And then you start to do it power dynamics. And then if one person feels like short side, like they're getting the short end of the stick or whatever. Yes, I love that. Get your founder documents in place. Yes. Get your founder documents. I'm gonna say that one more time. Get your founder documents in place if you have a business partner. Okay.
I'm telling you.
What is a book that everyone should read?
Oh gosh.
Don't tell me you don't read, Corey.
I don't read. You know, on a podcast, people always ask me what I'm reading. I'm like, I'm reading the Bible. Okay. I'm not really, but.
Are you reading the Bible?
I love the Bible. Don't get it twisted.
You are a melon. I'm gonna keep going. They're gonna light you up in these comments. They're gonna be like,
yeah, because I roast back. I will be all in them comments. Like, yeah, this is Corey. I'm not a big reader. I do not like reading. I'm a visual / like I watch and listen. So I could tell you some podcasts I'm listening to.
Sure.
Outside of this one, obviously.
More rounds. No, I'm kidding.
Or people, you know what I'm honestly listening to right now? I listen to a lot of like preacher sermons.
Okay.
It's a lot of like, people think it's just like, I mean, obviously it's religious, but it's also a lot of just like life things. And Darius Daniels, I listen to him all the time, my pastor. Like even last Sunday, he was talking about partnership and the way he like framed it and then like tied it to the Bible. I was like, yo, this makes so much sense for me. And so I listen to a lot of that. I love, this is kind of like not educational, but it kind of is. I love like all the athletes that are currently playing or like what played recently who have podcasts who are talking about the business aspect of it and how they sign certain players. And because my minutes went down, I didn't get this guarantee. Like I love hearing stuff like that. Because
like I Am Athlete with Brandon.
100% like that.
I love his podcast. Yes.
Like those. One of my favorite ones is Jeff Teague. And I like Jeff Teague because he's not an all-star like, I think he might have been an all-star one time or something, but he's not a star player. Most people don't know his name, but he has the realest stories, and this is how it is to be regular in the NBA, right? And so I love to hear that because it just gives me a sense of like where I'm at in my life. I feel like there's some really high-level entrepreneurs, and I'm like just amongst the regular, and I can see his perspective on certain things. So
gotcha. So all right, I'm asking everybody this question. What's your most embarrassing moment as an entrepreneur?
Ooh. Well, we had a really big moment where we were on the Shade Room for our Black Friday blunder, per se.
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We were on the Shade Room, and they did like a TSR investigates because we basically couldn't get the orders out in time, and then they got really backed up. Then this Facebook group was started by people who were like angry at us, and we didn't know about it. And so the group had been going on for 2-3 months. They had like 400 or 500 people in there. And, you know, once people get together without you, the problem was already escalated, and so we were actually handling the stuff on the back end, but we were trying to explain to them, well, so many people had refunds. People don't know. If you are on Shopify and you get a refund, not only do you lose the sale, if you lose a chargeback, you lose the sale, then they charge you $25. So not only were we losing the sale, but we were losing $25 for every order.
Oh, wow.
So it was taking the money, then we had the loan. Then we already had paid the money to get the merchandise made.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't have any money I don't have money to make the stuff or money to give you a refund. And we were trying to explain that, but then like, you know, trying to work through different scenarios. But
and it's hard for people to believe because they're like, well, we did $1 million in a day. Like, if you got $1 million, you got my money. What you mean?
100%. And you can only say certain much.
But I really needed 1.5 to even do this.
100%.
Gotcha.
And so then, I mean, what ended up happening is the Shade Room wanted to do a story, and we like at first we were like, nah. We told them no, but you can't stop people from reporting.
Stop the press.
And so we were like, well, let's
PR major, you know that
100%. So I'm like, well, let's get on camera and like face it, because I don't want them to tell the narrative. I want us to tell the narrative, and so we end up doing that. And luckily, I have so many friends that are influencers and stuff that were commenting like, "Oh, we trust and love them."
Because you're a good guy, Corey. You're not like a real scammer, even though you've been doing. I mean, you've been talking about some questionable things in your past, but you're not. You know, like
I'm not a real scammer. I'm a marketer.
The intention isn't there. You just made a couple mistakes.
Yeah, I'm a marketer, right? And we're all human.
So I have a question. So how'd you handle that though? Because, you know, like, I don't know, were you in therapy at the time where like I've had moments where, you know, I was supposed to be getting a check from, you know, a particular deal didn't come in when it needed. I ended up missing payroll. I'm on the floor crying.
100%.
Like, you know, it was like one of my low moments. I remember Tim coming into the room and he was just coming to check on me because he knew I was in a stressful situation. Mm-hmm. And he saw me laying on the floor in my office crying. Mm-hmm. He's like, are you okay? And you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, and I wasn't in therapy then. I needed to start. And so I was curious, like, for that moment that you felt like it was embarrassing and probably one of your hardest moments ever as an entrepreneur, and it's public for everybody. Me on the floor crying was not public, right? Mm-hmm. Now it is, but it wasn't. And so your mistake was public for everybody to, you know, discuss openly on the Shade Room. How did you handle that emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Like, because remember I still got my staff there too. So not only can I not fulfill those orders, but my staff got to get paid too. Same thing. And a lot of my staff, for that month or two, work for free, and we ended up giving them money later. But like, that's why the kind of staff that I chose was very important. They were there for the purpose, not for the money. Now, obviously, they had to get paid to pay their bills, but a lot of them were there because they believed in what we were doing. And a lot of them are some of my friends to this day. It's like we still actively hang out. But, it was pretty embarrassing because I've always been pretty successful at everything I do. And so to take a public loss like that is a tough thing. But then also, on the other side of it, to see the impact and support that we had, even from people who didn't get their orders. They're like, man, I've ordered from them before. It's never been like this. Like, I was telling people we had 7 people on staff when we made $1 million. Like, we wasn't ready for that. Like, you think that you want to make this money, but you don't understand the systems and processes that it takes, which is why I shut down to get my systems and processes right so that when I relaunch, we don't have that same issue. Yeah,
we had 7 people on staff as contractors, and we made $1 million for the year. Mm-hmm. So not in a day.
Yeah.
That is very, very different.
Yeah. Especially with merchandise too. Like, the clothing, like the stitching and the heat press. It's like we had a lot of bottlenecks in our business because we were doing it ourselves. It wasn't like a company doing it. It was like us. So it was just a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you for telling me about that. I appreciate you. Of course. And thank you for being honest and authentic. Last question. Mm-hmm. Is there a moment you want to relive where you're like, this is an incredible moment and I would go back and feel this moment again?
Relive in business or personal?
You choose.
It's a lot of moments, man. I think in business, our first NBA All-Star, we did a partnership with the NBA All-Star.
Oh, really? That's dope.
Yeah, we actually done 3 now. Ever since the COVID year 2020, they did a makeshift All-Star here in Atlanta. And they asked us to make all the merch for the players and stuff. And so we did that in 48 hours, flipped it. And that's how I built my relationship with the NBA. So my first All-Star on one of my vision boards I had, make it to the All-Star game. Initially, it was like in high school for me to play in it. But now it's for me to attend.
Wait. Corey, how tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
You was gonna try to go to you was like, I'm going to the NBA.
You didn't know me in high school. I was that guy. I was that guy.
Look, Bronny look real short next to LeBron, and he like 6'4". You know what I mean?
So just so you understand, I come from North Carolina. We hoop, right?
Okay.
My conference was like John Wall, Steph Curry. Like we played against those guys.
Gotcha.
And we were winning those games. I just want to be clear.
But
I can't play like that no more now. Like I can still give the average person buckets, but not anybody else. It was amazing because I had always wanted to participate in All-Stars in some capacity. Seeing it on TV as a child and watching it, the dunk contest, I got to have all access to be a part of that. And so that moment was awesome. And then we just ran it back the next year and ran it back the next year.
Dope.
Personally, my favorite thing that I was able to do that I would love to relive was allowing my mom to quit her job and move to Atlanta, and my sister as well, and my grandma as well. They all live with me here in Atlanta. And so it was really dope to be able to put my family back under one roof again like we were when I was 18, 17, 16. So that's been cool. Now they need to get out. But in the beginning, it was great.
Wait. Hold on. You say your mama and your grandma didn't get out. They're good. Everybody who was checking for you, not checking for you.
Listen, they clean up, they cook. It's a great. They walk my dog when I'm not there.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's been great. So it was a really big moment for me and for them. And my mom was able to write her first book, which was the goal the whole time, was for her to not have to work so she could focus on the book. And she was able to do that. And so
that's beautiful.
It was great.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing everything, Corey. Is there anything you want to leave the people with?
I would say for me, I always talk to people and let them know to just go for it. So many times I always talk about not trying to be perfect, but just being present. And so I do a lot of things wrong. I make a lot of mistakes, but I do it though. I can at least say I learned from this, or this was successful. Go do it.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to content, you don't know what's going to go viral and what's not. I mean, you've experienced that. Some posts you're like, oh, why did that go viral? Why did that do well? Versus why didn't that do well?
Went viral. It was of me complaining about my spades hand, saying I got 4 or 5 books, and they like, you got 7 or 8. That thing got over 100,000 views. I was so mad. I put out so much good content.
I got so much good content that I actually tried. I learned this dance and everything, but that's what happens. And so just do it, man. Do it ugly. Just do it. Don't be perfect.
Ugly. That's a t-shirt.
And so, actually, that's a brand that one of my students has called Do It Ugly.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Corey. How can people support you?
They can find me on Instagram at Corey Arvinger, or all platforms at Corey Arvinger, or at Support Black College.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Corey, for coming on to the More Rounds podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.